Ladies and gentlemen, it's a miracle. The NBA Mount Rushmore series part 4 is finally being recorded. You guys are finally going to be able to watch this episode. So let's get right into it right after the intro. Thank you for tuning into podcast number 72 of Sports Talk with JWock. I am your host, Jonah Walkenfoos, and it's a video we haven't done in a long time. It's this 6-part series that we were doing previously a couple weeks back where we were talking about the NBA Mount Rushmore for each team in their respective divisions from the past 20 years. We've already done the divisions. Let me check real quick. We've done the Northwest Division, the Central Division, and the Atlantic Division. So if you want to check those out, you can check out in the playlist. If you just check out my channel, you click playlists, you should be able to see NBA Mount Rushmore series, and you'll be able to watch all the first 3 parts in that. And this is also the first time I've done an NBA episode in many weeks. It just feels like the NFL has taken over, especially since the season has been kicking off. We're already on week 5, which is crazy, which, by the way, watch my previous episode where I do my picks for week 5, so you could check that out. But bear with me if I'm a little bit slow with NBA talk because, well, it's been a while since I've just done basketball talk in general. But I'm excited because guess what? The week I'm recording this, actually right now, the time I'm actually recording this, the first NBA preseason game is taking place. So I'm very excited to be able to watch my favorite team, the Chicago Bulls, play and probably win about 34 games. But let's get right into the Pacific Division today where we're going to be talking about the Lakers, Clippers, Warriors, Kings, and Suns. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so the first team we're going to mention is what a lot of people like to say is America's team. I don't agree with that, but let's talk about the Los Angeles Lakers, where I think the first player that is like the most obvious player that needs to be on this list is Kobe Bryant. Definitely one of the best players in not just Lakers franchise history, but like in NBA history. Like he's one of the best players of all time. I think everybody would almost agree that he's top 10 for sure. No matter where you put him in the top 10, that's your opinion. I personally think he's like a top 5, maybe top 7 player. But let me know what you guys think down below. But overall, in Kobe's 20-year span, he won 2 NBA Finals with the Lakers, which I believe he's a 5-time NBA champion, but he won beforehand, just to clarify. Kobe won 2 NBA Finals beforehand of 2005. Sorry, I forgot to clarify that. He won 2 NBA Finals in this span in 2009 and 2010. He won the league MVP in 2008, and he has many more accomplishments. Some people would debate he's a top 5 player, like I said earlier, but regardless, he has 2 numbers retired in the Lakers rafters, which, by the way, the Lakers are going to start running out of numbers to retire. It's gotten to the point where they have so many players, but these 2 numbers definitely deserve to be retired, number 8 and 24. If you ask me, Afro Kobe was the best version of Kobe when he was wearing number 8. I think that's the most iconic, at least to me. A lot of people would think of number 24 Kobe, but I think of number 8 Kobe more. Let me know down below in the comments, are you a number 8 Kobe fan? Or are you more of a number 8 Kobe fan or number 24 Kobe fan? Let me know down below. But he definitely deserves to be on this list. It would be disrespectful if I didn't include him. Next up, we're going to have Kobe Bryant's running mate during these years of the finals runs, and that's Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol is also a 2-time NBA champion, winning with Kobe in 2009 and 2010. He also has his number retired in the Lakers rafters, which was number 16. Pau Gasol was a player that also played for the Bulls towards the end of his career, and he was just a player that was like, he kind of played like Jokic, if that makes any sense, but he was more like athletic, but also not. Like Pau Gasol was just such a really like fundamentally sound, good basketball player, and he was very, very good, obviously, because he helped win 2 championships with the Lakers, and he was good before he was even on the Lakers, like when he was with the Grizzlies and stuff like that. So Pau Gasol definitely deserves to be on this list. Next up, we have some people's GOAT, not mine, but some people's GOAT, LeBron James. He definitely deserves to be on this list. He helped the Lakers to another championship in 2020, the bubble year. and he also won the Finals MVP that year. And ever since, he's just been kind of an iconic fan favorite for the Lakers. I mean, you can't not include him in this list, if that makes sense. LeBron James was a key piece to that NBA Finals run in the bubble. He's also led them to the playoffs multiple times. The Lakers have been relevant since then, or since he's joined the team. They've been almost back to relevancy because before LeBron, that team was looking rough. They had a lot of young, talented players, but they just weren't really meshing well. And then they traded a lot of those young players to be able to get the next player on this list and the final player on this Mount Rushmore for the Lakers, Anthony Davis. He was also a part of that 2020 NBA championship team. I believe that was the first year he got traded to the Lakers when he was previously on the Pelicans in that blockbuster trade, including players like Josh Hart, Lonzo Ball, and Brandon Ingram. He's just a defensive force that just like is to be reckoned with. Like, you watch Anthony Davis on the defensive end and you're like, man, how does anybody even have a chance of scoring against him? He's like this 7-foot lengthy defender who's really good at blocking shots, and he's very underrated offensively. He's got a very solid jump shot, and he's just a really good lob threat. So overall, I think Anthony Davis also deserves to be on this list. And in my opinion, I think he should have won Finals MVP in that bubble year, because I think without Anthony Davis, the Lakers would not have won the championship. But overall, that's going to be my 4 players for the Lakers. If I were to say an honorable mention, I would probably pick Lamar Odom. So let me know what you guys think down below, and let's get on to the next team. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Clippers. And first off, before we go into their Mount Rushmore, have you guys seen their NBA stadium? Like, it looks so cool, and it's definitely something that's on my bucket list to go visit that stadium and just have an experience, or just like experience a Clippers game just because of that stadium and just like all the features in it. But anyways, off of that side note, let's start with Chris Paul, where he definitely deserves to be on this list. I think he's probably the most notable Clippers player, at least to me, when I think about players from the past 20 years. Chris Paul, especially on the Clippers, but even still today, is an elite floor general, and he was a great shooter in LA. He was actually pretty solid in the three-point line as well, which is something he definitely isn't the best at anymore. And he just helped make the Clippers contenders for many seasons. If you guys know the Lob City Clippers, one of the most entertaining teams of all time, in my opinion, Chris Paul was a big part of that, especially when you're the big playmaker on the team. You're the one throwing lobs to some really high flyers, which leads us to our next player who was a part of this Lob City team, and that is Blake Griffin. He was the former number 1 pick for the Clippers in 2009. He was just an explosive star forward and one of the main pieces a part of this Lob City Clippers team. Chris Paul, obviously the floor general, throwing it up to players like Blake Griffin. I mean, like, you didn't even have to throw it like incredibly accurate. You just had to throw it in the area, and Blake Griffin was going to go get it. And he was going to dunk on whoever got in his way. It doesn't matter if your name is like Shaquille O'Neal or Steph Curry. Like, he's going to dunk on you. Like, Blake Griffin was unreal. And I know a lot of people are going to get mad saying no way he would dunk on Shaq. Look at some of Blake Griffin's plays. I'm sure he would have been able to get at least a couple off. Maybe not all of them, but a couple. But anyways, Blake Griffin definitely deserves to be on this list. If you guys don't know who Blake Griffin was, watch some of his film. He wasn't just a great dunker. He was also just a great basketball player in general. He had great skills, especially when he got to Detroit later on. But obviously, like, we're not going to mention that right now because we're talking about the Pacific Division and the Pistons aren't on that. But next up, we're going to talk about the other running mate on the Lob City Clippers, DeAndre Jordan, their center. He was just he was just another main piece of this Lob City team, and he dominated in the interior both offensively and defensively, and he had multiple All-Star appearances. DeAndre Jordan, still playing today, by the way, on the Denver Nuggets. That man, I don't know how long he's going to keep going for, but it's just incredible to see that he's still playing. DeAndre Jordan, another player that would just throw down every single dunk he could possibly do. He was just really fun to watch, and he was a big part of this Lob City Clippers, and I could not include him, if that makes sense. And then finally, we're going to add Jamal Crawford, one of the best, if not the best, sixth man in NBA history, maybe minus Manu Ginobili. I mean, I think that's up for debate. and maybe Tony Kukoc, but I think that's up for debate for sure. He won 2 Sixth Man of the Year awards with the Clippers. He was unreal at ball handling and score, especially in the clutch. Like, if you watch Jamal Crawford's like double behind the back move, that's like one of the moves that, like, as a kid, I always tried to like get down, and I never was able to do because I've never been a really like good ball handler in basketball. I've more just been the guy that I'm gonna come off some screens and shoot the ball. Jamal Crawford was unbelievable at just ball handling and stuff. Like, you think about how Kyrie Irving plays and stuff, and how Kyrie Irving has these tight handles. Jamal Crawford didn't necessarily have that kind of handle. Jamal Crawford more reminded me of like an Allen Iverson type of handles type of player, where he was just unreal. He's a player that you would just see like in the NBA, he would dominate, and then he could go to like Rucker Park, which is just like a park. I can't remember where it's located, but it's where like a lot of really good basketball players go and play, and he would dominate there as well. Like, he was like a great street ball player along with a great NBA player, and you could not include him on this list. And he was also a part of that Lob City. So every player I chose on this list for the Clippers was on this Lob City team, because let's be real, that was the best in this 20-year span. That team was the best team for the Clippers in that span. And then if I were to go do some honorable mentions, I would say Elton Brand and Lou Williams. So let me know what you guys think of how I did for the Mount Rushmore for the Clippers, and let's get on to the next team. Next up in the Pacific Division, we're going to be talking about the Golden State Warriors, one of the most successful teams in the NBA in this 20-year span, if not the most successful team. So let's start with the most iconic and best player in Warriors franchise history, Stephen Curry. Definitely deserves to be on this list. If you disagree with me, I don't know what to tell you. Steph Curry, like I said earlier, is the greatest player in Warriors history, and I don't think that's a debate. He's also the greatest shooter of all time, and the stats show why. He was a 4-time NBA champion, or he is a 4-time NBA champion. He won the Finals MVP in that 2022 NBA championship. He is a 2-time regular season MVP in 2015 and 2016, so back-to-back years. And overall, he was one of the main pieces to the Splash Brothers duo, which no longer exists, between him and Klay Thompson, because Klay is in Dallas now. But overall, Steph Curry deserves to be on this list. Like, just watching him play basketball is just such a privilege, to be able to see how he moves off the ball, how he shoots the ball, how he takes over games. He's just an unreal player, and there's no player that will ever replace him on this list, in my opinion. Next up, we have Klay Thompson, who I mentioned earlier, the other half of the Splash Brothers. Dominant player for the Warriors. He's also a 4-time NBA championship. He was a part of that Warriors dynasty from like 2015 until honestly 2019. And they even won like a few years after, a few years after, when Kevin Durant wasn't even on the team, when it was the Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson type of run team. But yeah, Klay Thompson definitely deserves to be on this list. An iconic player for the Warriors. If you think of if someone said name like 3 players all time for the Warriors, people would say Curry, Klay, and probably, I don't know, like Kevin Durant, Draymond Green. Like, there'd be certain players that a lot of people would name, but like Klay Thompson definitely deserves to be on this list. Very good player. Next up, we have Draymond Green, another player, a part of that dynasty for the Warriors. He was a key piece to winning those 4 championships. I mean, Draymond Green, you could match him up against anybody and he would do it. He would take that challenge, whether that's against a really good guard or a big man that is dominant. Like, he would take that challenge and he would do pretty well against them. He was kind of that Swiss Army knife player for the Warriors, especially during that dynasty run. He still is kind of that Swiss Army knife player. He's getting older, so obviously his production's going to drop. But that's given. Anybody that's getting older, it feels like, other than LeBron James, their production starts to really go down. Draymond Green is also that player that kind of brings the fire to the Warriors, if that makes sense. Like, he's going to be the guy that's most likely going to get in the fights, which isn't a good thing. But he's the guy that'll just step up for his teammates, except Jordan Poole when he was on the team. If you know, you know. But yeah, like, Draymond Green definitely deserves to be on this list. And yeah, like, I don't know what else to say. And then the final player I would say that deserves to be on this is Kevin Durant. A lot of people might not like me for saying that. That's where when he joined the Warriors back in I don't remember what year he joined. Was it 2016's offseason? I think it might have been that. It might have been that or 2017's. But when he joined and left the Thunder, especially after the Warriors beat the Thunder in the conference finals the year before Kevin Durant joined them, that's when Kevin Durant got the nickname Snake, because he literally left to go to the team that beat him to make the finals. So that was definitely a soft move for Kevin Durant, but it was a successful move because he won 2 championships with the Warriors. And both years they won the championship, he won the finals MVP, and that was both in 2017 and 2018. Without Kevin Durant, I don't think the Warriors would have beat the Cavs those past couple of years. So yeah, I think he definitely deserves to be on this list. And if I were to go some honorable mentions, I would do Finals MVP Andre Iguodala, and then Monte Ellis, and then even Sean Livingston, man, the mid-range legend. So let me know what you guys think down below, and let's get on to the Sacramento Kings. Next up, I would say we have probably the hardest team for me to determine, the Mount Rushmore for the Pacific Division, and that is the Sacramento Kings, where first up I'm going to start by mentioning DeMarcus Cousins. I think he deserves to be on this. If you guys know that era of DeMarcus Cousins, man, it was fun to watch him play. He was a dominant big man. I would say he was the Jokic before Jokic, if that makes sense. Because he was the kind of big man that would get triple-doubles, which not at Jokic's level, because Jokic I think he might have been averaging a triple-double last year. But like DeMarcus Cousins would be the guy that would get triple-doubles every once in a while, which was honestly rare for a big man at that time. He was definitely dominant. He was a multi-time All-Star for the Kings, and he's just a player that I think will go down as one of the best Sacramento Kings of all time. Next up, we have De'Aaron Fox. He was a star point guard in the franchise, leading the Kings while he was on the team, and then I think he was just a player that fans love even today. I know he got traded to the Spurs. He probably wasn't going to re-sign if he was going to stay, or if he was on the Kings still, he probably wasn't going to re-sign when his contract was up. That's why, in all honesty, the Kings decided to trade him last year. De'Aaron Fox is also one of my favorite players. I actually have his jersey. I just don't know why. Like he's just like, the way he plays so quickly and how smooth he plays and how he's just a really solid defender. I just really like that style of play, and I just have always thought De'Aaron Fox was just one of my favorite players. Next up, we have, Mike Bibby, where if you know, you know. Like Mike Bibby was honestly a pretty iconic player for the Kings. If you see a lot of people wearing like Kings jerseys, which you probably don't see many people wearing them, but if you do, odds are Mike Bibby could be one of the players that you see them wearing. Like he was definitely a fan favorite for this team. He was a star point guard for their team, in my opinion, in the early 2000s, and was a key contributor for the Kings for many years. When they had players like Mike Bibby and Peja Stojakovic and stuff like that. And I think Vlade Divac, if I'm mentioning the right player, but yeah, Mike Bibby definitely deserves to be on this list. I don't know what else to say. And then the final player I think is current player on the Kings and that is Domantas Sabonis. I think, a dominant big man, Domantas Sabonis is going to be the guy that he's really strong. He's not the best defender, but at least he could hold his ground in the interior. He's the kind of guy that you can kind of run your offense with. You could give him the ball. He could set great ball screens. He's also really good down low. He's also developed his jumper a lot better. It's still a ugly form to me. I don't know why. It might not be as bad, but to some of you, but I just think it just looks really weird. But he's just overall a really good player. Also grabs many rebounds, and he's led the Kings to the playoffs before. So I'm very interested to see how he's going to do, especially with this role on the Kings now, where the Kings are still trying to figure out where they're going, because we can almost call them the Sacramento Bulls, because now they have Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan on their team. So who knows how that's going to go. But overall, I do think Sabonis deserves to be on this list. And then if I were to put some honorable mentions, I would put Malik Monk, who's currently on the team, who's honestly probably going to get traded this year, realistically. And then Chris Webber. And the reason why I didn't put him on this list, because a lot of you guys are like, why isn't Chris Webber on this list? Because he finished his play with the Kings in 2005. So it's like he played like 1 year maybe on the Kings during the span that I'm going by. So like I really couldn't include that in my opinion. Let me know if that's kind of weird or not, but like that's going to be the Kings. Let's move on to the final team, the Phoenix Suns. And we're on to the fifth and final team of the Pacific Division, and that is the Phoenix Suns, a very iconic franchise. And these past 20 years, they've had some pretty good players, so let's get right into those 4 players that I think deserve to be on this Mount Rushmore. First up, I'm going to say Steve Nash, probably one of the best Phoenix Suns player of all time. He was a 2-time MVP in 2005 and 2006. That 7 seconds or less offense, he was one of the main players that led that offensive team. It was so incredible to watch. Look up the 7 seconds or less offense. That'll be your homework for this episode, I guess. I guess I'm giving you guys homework now. But look it up. It's so cool to watch and just see like how they did that. He also led the team to the Western Conference Finals in 2005, 2006, and 2010. So definitely a player that helped lead this franchise to successful seasons. The Suns still, as a franchise, have yet to win an NBA championship. They've made the finals a couple times, but they have yet to actually accomplish winning it all, especially since they just recently made it not too long ago against the Bucks, but the Bucks won that series. And then also, I can't remember how many other times they made the finals, but I know like when Charles Barkley was on the Suns, they lost, but that was also to Michael Jordan. So it's like, makes sense. But anyways, the next player I'm going to do is a player that, in my opinion, could be one of the best, if not the best, Phoenix Suns of all time when it's all said and done, and that is Devin Booker. He definitely deserves to be on this list. He is the franchise all-time leading in scoring. He's also led the team to the 2021 NBA Finals where they played the Bucks. They didn't win, but you still made the finals, which is impressive enough. He has all NBA honors twice on the first and third team, and he's also the youngest player to score 70 points in a game against the Celtics. Devin Booker is an iconic player. I don't remember what draft position he was drafted in, but like he was kind of the player that was under the shadow on that Kentucky team in college. I guess he wasn't really under the shadow, but like everybody was talking about the like Karl Anthony Towns and players like them. But Devin Booker is just an iconic player, a player that is criminally underrated in the NBA right now. A lot of people aren't really thinking of Devin Booker as one of the like top 10, but he's close in my opinion. Like he's good, and he definitely deserves to be on this list for the Suns Mount Rushmore. Next up, we have Amari Stoudemire, who was a teammate alongside Steve Nash. He was a multi-time All-Star. He had 4-time All-NBA selections, and he was a key player to the Suns making 3 Western Conference Finals when he was playing with Steve Nash. Amari Stoudemire, great player. I think I put him on the Knicks Mount Rushmore as well. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to relook at that, but he's just a very good player, played very well on the Suns, and definitely deserves to be on this list. And then the final player I'm going to add is Shawn Marion, who was inducted into the team's Ring of Honor. He was also on the All-NBA third team twice, and he was a key player along with Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire. If you guys don't remember Shawn Marion, he was the kind of, I think they nicknamed him the Magician, where he had like the weirdest jump shot ever, like the quickest and ugliest jump shot I've ever seen, but it worked. And Shawn Marion was a key player, and he definitely deserves to be on this list. If I were to do an honorable mention, I would say Chris Paul. I know a lot of people don't remember maybe Chris Paul's stint in Phoenix, but he was a key reason as to why the Suns made the finals with Devin Booker in 2021. So I think he deserves to be an honorable mention. But anyways, that's going to be the end of podcast number 72 of Sports Talk with JWock. This is part 4 of the NBA Mount Rushmore series. There will be 6 total parts, so there's going to be 2 more parts later on. I'm going to try to get those episodes out sooner than the gap that we had between part 3 and 4. So I apologize for that long of a gap. I just got so caught up in NFL talk. I just, you got to do what is currently trending, and that's the NFL right now. And I love watching football, and I love talking about it, but the NBA season is back, so we're going to be doing some more content with the NBA, so bear with me. We're going to be getting those out soon. Don't worry. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to podcast number 72 of Sports Talk with JWock. If you haven't already, like and subscribe the video. Comment below how you think I did with the Mount Rushmore series so far, and maybe if there's anything I can improve on. But anyways, I hope you all have an amazing week. God bless.